I used our joint credit card to upgrade my seat so I could watch my husband's face when he realized I knew about the affair. The look of pure terror as he walked past me in business class, worth every penny of the money he'd been stealing to romance his mistress. But let me back up to that morning in Chicago when everything started to unravel. Michael rushed around our Lincoln Park apartment, juggling his phone and travel mug. His movements seemed more frantic than usual, more secretive. "Big presentation in Milwaukee today," he said, not meeting my eyes. "The Peterson Group wants to see our new marketing strategy." I'd heard him mention Peterson before, but something felt off about his tone. I asked if he could drop me at Union Station first. The conference started tomorrow, but I wanted to arrive early and prepare. He claimed he was running too late. Traffic would be impossible, he said. I nodded, like I always did, like I had for months when his excuses started piling up. What I didn't know then, there was no Milwaukee presentation, no Peterson Group meeting, only Jessica Parker, his marketing consultant from Denver, who'd been texting him at all hours. We kissed goodbye at the door. It tasted like coffee and lies. I was heading to Phoenix for the National Real Estate Innovation Summit. My chance to expand Thompson Property Solutions beyond Chicago's competitive market. 5 years building this company from scratch, and finally national recognition was within reach. At Union Station, I grabbed coffee and settled into the waiting area. The morning rush buzzed around me, but I felt oddly calm. I opened my ticket app to check boarding details, coach seat 15B, 20-hour journey ahead. Then I saw it, family plan activated. My blood froze. Second ticket purchased under our shared account. Same train, same departure time. Michael's name. Car 7 seat 22A. My hands shook as I opened our shared credit card account. The evidence was all there, glowing on my phone screen. Hotel reservation at the Phoenician Resort for M. Thompson and J. Parker. Spa couples package for 2. Poolside cabana rental. Romantic dinner reservations. Even a florist charge for welcome roses. My husband had planned an elaborate romantic desert getaway. During my most important business conference, the betrayal cut deeper than I'd imagined possible. Not just the affair, but the calculated deception. Using our money to romance another woman while I worked 18-hour days building our future. I sat there for 10 minutes, letting the reality sink in. Passengers flowed around me, heading to their destinations, their lives intact. Mine was crumbling. But maybe that meant I could rebuild it stronger. I called Linda Morrison, my real estate mentor, who'd taken this route monthly for the past 3 years. "Linda, it's Sarah. I need a favor." "Honey, what's wrong? You sound strange." "Long story. Do you know anyone at Amtrak customer service? I need to upgrade my ticket. Today." Linda didn't ask questions. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Car 2 seat 8A, business class, all set. "Thank you," I whispered. "Sarah, whatever's happening, you're stronger than you know." She was right. This wasn't about luxury. This was about positioning. Michael would have to walk past me to reach the dining car, the restroom, anywhere. I wanted him to see me, confident, unbothered, thriving without him. I texted him, "Safe travels to Milwaukee. Hope the Peterson presentation goes perfectly. Crush it." The irony tasted bitter in my mouth. He responded immediately, "Thanks, babe. Miss you already. Love you." Such easy lies. How long had he been this good at deception? Boarding time arrived. I settled into my upgraded seat with a clear view of the aisle. Business class passengers boarded first, then regular coach. I watched the stream of travelers waiting. Then I saw him. Michael walked down the aisle, relaxed and confident, scrolling through his phone. Probably texting Jessica about their romantic plans. Until our eyes met. His coffee cup trembled in his hand. His face went white. "Sarah," his voice cracked. "What are you doing here?" I smiled serenely. Last-minute upgrade. Loyalty points finally paid off. He stood frozen in the aisle, blocking other passengers. But what happened to Milwaukee? The Peterson presentation? He fumbled with his words, panic creeping into his voice. The client. They had to reschedule. Emergency meeting in Phoenix instead. Last-minute change. How convenient, I said, my smile never wavering. What are the odds we'd end up on the same train? His jaw worked silently. Maybe we can grab dinner while we're both in town, I continued. Make the best of this coincidence. He managed a weak nod before stumbling toward his seat 3 cars back. The power dynamic had completely shifted. I was no longer the trusting wife. I was the one holding all the cards. The train pulled away from Chicago, and I watched the city skyline fade into suburban sprawl. 2 hours into the journey, I decided to make my next move. I walked to the cafe car, deliberately taking the long route past Michael's seat. He looked up nervously as I approached. How's the Peterson account going? I asked casually, stopping beside his seat. Other passengers glanced up at us, this seemingly normal married couple making small talk. It's challenging, he muttered, unable to meet my eyes. I understand completely, I said. Real estate's tricky that way. One wrong move, one moment of poor judgment, and everything you've built just crumbles. His knuckles went white as he gripped his armrest tighter. Trust is everything in our business, don't you think? He swallowed hard. Yeah, absolutely. Well, don't let me interrupt your work, I said brightly. I'll be in the business car if you need anything. I kept walking, feeling his eyes burning into my back. When we reached Phoenix 18 hours later, I was first off the train. The desert air hit my face like freedom. At the taxi stand, I gave the driver an address I'd memorized from Michael's hidden reservations. The Phoenician Resort, please. Time to make my final moves. The Phoenician Resort rose from the desert like a mirage, all adobe walls and palm trees against dramatic mountain views. I approached the front desk with confidence I didn't entirely feel. Good afternoon. This is Ms. Parker, I said to the clerk. I'm checking in early for the Thompson reservation. The young man's fingers flew across his keyboard. Oh yes, the spa package. You're earlier than expected. Travel plans changed, I said smoothly. I need to add some restrictions to room service and all charges. Nothing can be authorized without my direct approval. He nodded, making notes. Of course, Ms. Parker, is there anything else? That covers it for now. They didn't question my identity. I didn't volunteer any clarifications. Ambiguity was my weapon now. Next, I called Rachel, my business partner back in Chicago. Rachel, it's Sarah. Listen carefully because this might sound crazy. I'm listening. Long story short, Michael's been having an affair. I'm in Phoenix about to confront them both. Thompson Property Solutions is about to get very interesting press. Silence. Then, holy shit, Sarah, are you okay? I'm better than okay. I'm strategic. Can you handle things if I need to extend this trip? Absolutely, do what you need to do. At the conference check-in, I networked with renewed energy. My personal life was imploding, but my professional life was about to soar. I pitched our services to David Kim from Apex Development, drawing on my morning's revelations. Sometimes, I told him over coffee, you have to turn personal chaos into professional opportunity. Crisis management isn't just about buildings, it's about people. He was intrigued by my intensity. Tell me more about your crisis management approach. By the time our conversation ended, Thompson Property Solutions had landed its biggest client yet. Michael called around 3 p.m., just as I was finishing a panel discussion on market disruption. Sarah, how's the conference going? Phenomenally well, actually. Best networking I've ever done. That's great, he said, though he sounded distracted. Listen, the Peterson meeting wrapped up early. Want to grab dinner tonight? Perfect. I'd love that, I said. Let's meet at Wright's at the Phoenician. 7:30 work for you? Long pause. I could practically hear his brain scrambling. That's where I'm staying. I know. I switched hotels last minute. Better networking opportunities with the other summit attendees. Another pause. You're at the Phoenician, too. Got upgraded to a suite, actually. Amazing what loyalty points can do. I let that sink in before adding, oh, and I might bring some people from the conference. Hope that's not a problem. There are some potential clients I'd love you to meet. His voice cracked slightly. Of course not. The more the merrier. I smiled at the phone. His romantic dinner with Jessica had just become a business networking event with his wife, and she was already checked into his hotel. See you at 7:30, darling. I hung up and immediately called Jessica's number, which I'd found in Michael's hidden contact list. Jessica Parker. This is Sarah Thompson. I think we should talk. At 7:15, I positioned myself at the resort bar with a perfect view of the entrance. Jessica arrived first, exactly as I'd expected. She looked nervous, checking her phone constantly. I approached her table. Jessica, I'm Sarah Thompson, Michael's wife. Her martini glass nearly slipped from her fingers. He told me you were divorced, going through a difficult separation. Interesting, I said, sitting down uninvited. He told me this trip was for the Peterson Group presentation. Funny how stories change. I placed my phone on the table, open to screenshots of their hotel reservation, the spa appointments, the flower delivery. He also said this romantic getaway was for work. Jessica studied the evidence, her face cycling through confusion, realization, and horror. Oh my God, she whispered. He lied to both of us. Thoroughly and creatively, I agreed. That's when Michael appeared, striding confidently toward our table until he saw us sitting together. His face went from confusion to panic in seconds. Sarah, what's happening here? Just getting acquainted with Jessica, I said calmly. She's lovely. I can see why you'd want to plan a romantic weekend with her. He looked between us, trapped. Can we have some privacy? He pleaded. No need, I replied. We're all adults here. We're handling this very maturely. Jessica stood abruptly, fury replacing her earlier embarrassment. You son of a bitch, she said to Michael. You told me you were separated. You said she was vindictive and wouldn't finalize the divorce. She turned to me. I'm genuinely sorry, Sarah. I had no idea you were still together. I would never have gotten involved if I'd known the truth. I believe you, I said sincerely. You're clearly not the problem here. Jessica gathered her purse with dignity and tact. Consider whatever this was between us over, she told Michael. Don't contact me again. She walked away without looking back. Michael sat down heavily, looking like a man whose world had just collapsed. This wasn't how any of this was supposed to go, he mumbled. No, I said, signaling the bartender for another wine. You were supposed to cheat quietly in Phoenix while I worked myself to death building our company in Chicago. Sarah, I'm not finished. My voice was steel. You were supposed to use our money to romance another woman while telling me we couldn't afford to expand the business. He stared at the table. What do you want from me? I'd been preparing for this moment since Union Station that morning. First, you're going to return every penny you've been siphoning from our joint accounts. I found the transfers, Michael. The cash withdrawals. All of it. His shoulders sagged. Second, you're going to sign divorce papers with my terms. I keep the business, the condo, and my retirement accounts. You can have your car and whatever's left in your personal checking account. And third, I continued, you're going to stay very, very quiet about my business expansion plans. Because if you try to sabotage Thompson Property Solutions out of spite, I'll make sure everyone in Chicago's real estate community knows exactly what kind of man you are. He looked up at me, and I saw something like fear in his eyes. You've really changed, Sarah. No, Michael, I've evolved. I've grown into the person I was always meant to be. I stood up, leaving him sitting alone at the table. Our lawyer will contact you next week. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. Back in my suite, I stood on the balcony overlooking the Sonoran Desert. The sun was setting, painting the mountains in shades of gold and crimson. My phone buzzed with messages. Rachel. How did the confrontation go? Are you okay? I replied. Better than I could have hoped. We're about to enter a new phase for Thompson Property Solutions. David Kim. Looking forward to discussing the Apex partnership tomorrow. Your approach impressed our entire team. Linda Morrison. Saw your conference photos on LinkedIn. You look radiant. Call me when you're back. For the first time in months, I felt genuinely excited about the future. Michael's betrayal had been devastating, but it had also been liberating. It forced me to stop playing small stop, accommodating his insecurities. Stop dimming my own light to make him comfortable. The woman who boarded that train in Chicago was scared of being alone, afraid of starting over. The woman standing on this balcony was eager to see what she could build on her own. Tomorrow, I would return to the conference and finalize 3 new client contracts. Next month, I would open Thompson Property Solutions' second office. Next year, the sky was the limit. The desert stretched endlessly before me, harsh, but beautiful, unforgiving, but full of life that had learned to thrive in the most challenging conditions. I understood now why some things needed to burn completely before they could grow back stronger. Phoenix had been the perfect place for my rebirth.